Closed captioning for The Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh yeah, Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on The Casey Malone Show.
Today I make Italian wedding cookies with Maria DeLost. They're fabulous. But first, I sit down with event designer Joe Mineo to discuss his book, It's My Party, and learn what it takes to host a successful event. Well, finally, I get to sit down with Joe Mineo from Joe Mineo Creative and discuss this book, It's My Party.
Yep.
It is a gorgeous book.
Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed it so much. You feel like you're crashing these parties. You really do.
Oh, I like that.
You're crashing it. I mean, the details that you give and the background and, the elements that you use for each one, you really do feel like you're almost in attendance.
That's wonderful. Glad to hear that.
I crashed it. Now, have you ever crashed a party?
I don't think I have.
I don't think I really have. In my younger days. Well, according to this book, the Rust Belt really knows how to party.
Yes.
People might make fun of our area between Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Youngstown, but there's a lot of party people.
There really is. We just opened up our office in Pittsburgh, and that is a extremely party town, believe it or not. We have found out that throughout the U.S., it's one of the largest population of party goers, and lots of events are happening. And you find that in our area too. From small to large, we do a lot of entertaining in Youngstown.
What are the most necessary and basic elements for a successful party?
Sure. Well, and I think sometimes I'm going to give this answer, and some of these answers you might have heard before. One of them would be when you're having any type of event, it's very, very important to be welcomed by the host, but more than that, get a drink in their hand, right?
Okay.
Get a drink in the guest's hand as quick as possible, no matter if it's alcoholic, if it's not alcoholic. It's just about the fact that when you have a drink in your hand, especially when you're entering an event and you're seeing new people or friends, there's a little bit of a comfort holding that glass in your hand, isn't there? It's almost like something to do with your hand, So I think that's very, very important. Within minutes, you should be offered an hors d'oeuvre or some type of munchie.
Yes.
It's really setting the tone of what the event is going to be as you go through the night. Putting together a wonderful guest list is extremely important.
Yes.
There's something lovely about having the same group of friends and family, but introducing new people that you think could click is really great. It's funny because I've had many parties at my home here in Boardman, and I try to do that, and I've made some really great friendships between other friends that are friends of mine might become friends of yours.
Yeah.
And that I think is really important because they always remember how they first met.
Music. Do you need the music to set the tone?
You want to think of your senses. You want to think of the five senses. You want it to be a visually beautiful party. Mm-hmm. You want to smell the aroma, if it's wonderful fragrant candles in your home, or if it's the delicious food that's being presented, right? You want to hear sound. You want to hear lovely music, no matter what it is. If it's soft music, if it's jazz, whatever you're doing, all of those things. And then, of course, you're tasting the food.
With all these events, there has got to be a disaster.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about 1, 2 things that you were so out of your control.
Well, I just told the story the other day. This was early in our business, but I remember, and it was not a very large wedding, but we were doing a wedding here in Boardman at the Holiday Inn, and I had built all the flowers. My team and I had everything ready. We put it in the cooler, and we were ready to go, and we're like, okay, we'll see you tomorrow. And my business partner at the time was still at the shop, and I had left to go, I think, Pittsburgh or Cleveland to see a show or something, and I got a call from her saying, where are you? And I said, I'm about a half hour away. I'm on my way to the show. And she said, the wedding is tonight.
What?
The bride had called and said, where are you? The wedding was on Friday, not on Saturday.
Oh my Lord.
Now how about that?
Whoa.
So, yes. So, you learn from your mistakes.
Right here, you have the
In the body form.
The body form. My only question is, in the middle of the table, would that block conversation?
That
now,
it's funny
that's the only thing I wanted to ask, because now I know that it seems that, as you can see, everything you want a clear view.
The rule really, Casey, is you can fill from the table up 12 inches as much as you'd like, but from 12 to 24, you want to leave that as negative as possible, right? So you can communicate. This particular event, it was a fashion theme. We had 54 tables. Every single table was designed for the different body form, and then the linen and the table skirt became the dress.
I see.
Custom
love
chairs.
this.
Yeah, it was really crazy. So the interesting thing about this is that conversation actually did come up in planning this, and my client said, but you can't quite see across the table. We actually looked into an actual machine a lift that would be under the table that would make the entire body form raise off the table at a certain time. Well, when we got the budget back, and even though this was an extremely high-end event, when we got the budget of what it would cost to make that happen, my client said, it's fine. They'll just won't be able to see across the table.
How long did it take you to put this together?
Yeah, it took about 2 years. It was a very long process. My next book is going to be how to write a book. You learn a lot, but it was, we wanted to be so specific and trying to get, the publisher to understand what we're looking for, and from every photo that was chosen and how it was laid out to the quality of the paper.
Oh, I mean, it's a really beautiful book.
What's kind of fun is if you touch the front of the book, of that feeling of it, it almost has like a waxy feel, which I love, and that was very important to me. So it did take time, and but we wanted it to be right, so we certainly didn't want to rush it. And
you really did. It's a beautiful coffee table book. The best way to get this is just through your website, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's at Barnes & Noble and .com, and it's at Target.com, but really the most cost-effective way to get it is to go through joeminneocreative.com. We can deliver it, we can ship it to you, whatever's good. That's probably the best way.
Okay, so make sure you pick this up. Somebody on your list loves to party, and this book is all about the party. Thank you so much, Joe. I could sit here for 3 hours and go over this. The Casey Malone Show will be right back with more local flavor. Summer means Magic Tree. Look at this patio. This is one of my favorite places to be on a summer night.
Casey, we have all the things going on here at the Magic Tree on our beautiful patio. We have the Saturday Summer Music Series, not to mention all the other goodies like our seasonal menu. Absolutely. That's our can of chips, our cedar plank salmon, and this is our Casey and the Sunshine Salad. How you like that? And then our seasonal drinks. That's our mermaid water, and it ain't no water, by the way. And this is our fresh blueberry mule.
Oh, that is beautiful. And I'm telling you, what is your slogan?
Come to the Magic Tree to eat, drink, and celebrate.
And I say repeat. Summertime is here. The living is easy. Get to the Magic Tree.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mayflower Woolham is your full-service, independent insurance agency. We work with several insurance companies to offer you choices for your insurance needs. We'll find the right product at the right price. Personal, business, farm, life, trust Mayflower Woolham. You focus on what's important, we'll take care of the details. Mayflower Woolham, close by with 3 locations to serve you.
Here at the Upstairs, we cater to everyone. When you come through the door, I treat you as though you're my friend. So there's all kinds of options here at the Upstairs. There's something on that menu for everyone. Great food, friendly service, very clean restaurant. There's a lot of restaurants, a lot of good restaurants in our community. So I always feel honored when someone comes here. I want everybody coming through that door to leave here with a good experience.
Part of growing up in Youngstown is growing up with Rowley Brothers Markets. Even friends who have moved out of town come to shop and say hi when they're home for a visit.
And my family has always shopped at Rowley's, and today they are still my favorite grocery store. My recipes depend on the best ingredients, and that's why I get them at Rowley's, where you'll always find the freshest food at the best prices.
Rowley Brothers is a proud sponsor of the KC Malone Show. The quality that customers have come to expect is true local flavor.
$5 Burger Mondays at Sadie's Place, inside the Best Western, Route 46, Austintown.
Is it time to update your color style? R&S Paint will assist you with your choice of over 3,400 Benjamin Moore colors. Vibrant, durable, and easy to apply. Be current, be stylish. Shop R&S Paint.
Today, Maria DeLost is joining me in the kitchen, and she is going to share with us her delicious Italian wedding cookies. Now, this is a recipe you got from your mom, Mary Danessa.
Yes, and we've modified the recipe over the years. We've tweaked it a little bit, and it's a very simple recipe. It's almost a no-fail go-to recipe that has never come out bad, so we're hoping it comes out good today. That we don't do something different today.
It's kind of humid out today. Does it like up itself? Is this affected by humidity?
No, it really isn't, because you refrigerate the dough. That makes it nice and firm, and that's why the cookies are nice and round and they don't flatten out. It's versatile. We can use colored frosting, we can use white frosting, we can use different types of sprinkles to match a wedding, a high school graduation, a bridal shower.
Green and gold for Ursuline.
Or cardinal and gold for Mooney.
Okay, yes. Either one, it would be a very pretty cookie.
And
now, what is your favorite? You could do anise, we could do almond, we could do lemon, and today, what do you think?
We're gonna do almond. That's my favorite. I love everything almond.
All right.
My mom always did lemon. She loved lemon. Probably was the only Italian around who did not like anise.
My mother is not an anise fan
Either. My mother made lemon pizzelles. She never made an anise anything.
That is funny.
So I actually added the almond because I really like almond flavor.
Me too. So let's go over the ingredient list, and then we will prepare Maria's Italian wedding cookies. For this recipe, you'll need 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 large eggs, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, softened but not melted, and 1.5 teaspoons of almond, anise, or lemon extract. So the first thing we have to do is sift the baking powder, the flour, and the salt together. And my sifter, I think, is turn of the century. It's a pretty antique one. Now, while Maria sifts, why are these called wedding cookies?
They're called wedding cookies because they've always been like the mainstay in the traditional Italian wedding table or Italian cookie table. And I think everybody knows that the cookie table originated in Youngstown.
Yes.
And we've all had those huge cookie tables.
Now, may I ask, when you and Ray got married?
Oh my gosh.
How was your wedding?
We had an Italian cookie table and a Croatian cookie table.
Were they competing against each other?
I think our
moms, the Crows are good bakers too.
We had kolaches and oh my gosh, you name it, every Croatian cookie and every Italian cookie. That's when all of our aunts were still alive and some of the grandmas were alive, and we had mountains and mountains of cookies.
And I noticed, we got to show this a little bit later, we've got your mom's cookbook, and I love it. Written in pencil.
This is my mom's last version of her cookbook, and you can see there are newspaper clippings, everything's handwritten in pencil. There's modifications.
I mean, it's so yellow. Don't you just love having this?
And every couple years,
seeing her penmanship.
It is, and it's very neat handwriting. And now we think like now when we want a recipe, we go on the internet and we Google it. But these ones are they're treasures, and you can't find the little comments in the corner like this is really good or this is not so good. Or
yeah. What are we going to do next?
The next thing we want to do is in the larger bowl, we want to beat the 3 eggs.
Okay, we beat them by themselves?
And you can beat them right into that bowl.
Okay.
And then we're going to add the sugar and then the butter. And the butter, like Casey said, we want to make sure that it's softened but not melted, because they'll be too runny if it's melted.
Okay. So we want these to be fluffy?
Nice and fluffy.
Okay.
So we added the half a cup of sugar, and Casey's beating that up real good.
Okay, is
making
that
it
good?
Fluffy. It's good. And then we're going to add the half a cup of butter.
Okay.
And we don't want margarine, and we don't want oleo. And then we're going to add our flavoring, and it's 1.5 teaspoons of either almond, or we're going to go with almond.
We're going to go with almond because it's your favorite. So I want to make sure these butter bits are broken up, right?
That's right. Yeah. So we want to go one. Now, one time I made these and I didn't have almond extract, so you know what I put in?
Amaretto.
I put an amaretto liqueur,
Yum.
and those were pretty darn good cookies.
I bet they were. You know what? I bet you this would be good with bourbon too. You know, think about it.
We're going to have a fourth version, the Casey bourbon version.
That's right. You loved my bourbon pie, didn't you? My
We
Kentucky
sure did.
Derby.
And then we're going to slowly add our flour,
Okay.
which we sifted together with our salt and our
Now, what would
baking
happen
soda.
if we didn't sift it?
You know, I think they come out heavier, and that was one of the things I never did when I was in a hurry. I didn't sift anything, and I think if you sift them, they're a little bit more airy. I'm going to add slowly, and we're going to try not to make a mess.
The big poof.
Like I do at home. And we're not going to over-mix it, because I think, again, if
Should
you...
I turn it down a little bit?
Yeah, maybe. I think if you over-mix it, then the dough gets harder, too.
We'll be right back to put the finishing touches on Maria's Italian wedding cookies.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Bernard. I've been giving the people of our valley free advice for 30 years. And my message has never changed. If you're involved in an automobile accident, don't try to handle it yourself. Call a lawyer. A lawyer will be your representative, dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the red tape that you may encounter. Hiring a lawyer doesn't mean you'll end up in court. And remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases.
That's good advice. Need a lawyer? Learn more at ElizabethBernardLaw.com.
Join the Island Purple Cat family. Employment opportunities are available. Given is living.
To own a business where your name's on the window can be pretty cool. That's my family. My name is Danny Catullo, and I'm the owner of Catullo Prime Meats. My grandfather started the business in 1962. I was able to take our old style butcher shop and bring it out to the new age using e-commerce to get our products to more customers. When we started shipping, there was not a ton of information out there. That's where we really worked with FedEx so they could be able to help us with our perishable shipping. We were taking on new purchases that we never had to make before. Boxes, coolers, ice packs, anything that was involved around shipping. So we can no longer do this with the cash that we had on hand. So because of the Plum Card from American Express and all of its benefits, it was a natural fit to help grow our business. And when someone calls and lets you know that you made their dinner, that's satisfaction that you can't get anywhere else.
My mom was always in my corner.
Always pushing me to do better.
I couldn't have asked for a better mother.
So when she needed assisted living,
I did my research.
Doctors, nurses,
and others with family and assisted living,
they all said,
trust the name you know.
Briarfield.
For assisted living with top healthcare experts, a caring staff, and a comfortable home-like setting,
trust the name you know.
Briarfield.
Trust the name you know. Briarfield. Proudly serving the Valley for over 20 years.
Hi, I'm Bob Kamara,
The time has come for me to step back and let my son Rob and daughter Brianna take ownership of Kamara Jewelers. We are celebrating my 41 years in the business with a huge retirement sale where store-wide discounts are up to 70% off. I want every piece sold. Nothing is held back.
Beautiful diamond jewelry, colored gemstones, and more. Largest selection of engagement rings, up to 70% off Kamara Jewelers' huge retirement sale.
4 for $5 till 6. Happy hour at Sadie's Place inside the Best Western, Route 46, Austintown.
R&S Paint is a locally owned paint store and not a paint department. Inspiration comes easy when choosing exciting Benjamin Moore colors and finish. Over 3,400 vibrant and durable colors are yours at R&S Paint.
Okay, so then we're just going to refrigerate this for about a half an hour.
Just keep it in the bowl?
We can keep it in the bowl.
Okay.
And then after that time, we'll make our balls.
All right, so this has been about an hour because we've been gabbing. We've taken it out of the fridge. Now so we just roll it.
Yeah, all we do is...
You make the first ball.
We roll it about an inch, as big as you want them. Make them nice and smooth, and then just put them on the parchment paper on the cookie sheet.
Is that too little?
Yeah, it's a little bit small, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, that's a nice size. So
but you can make them smaller or bigger, if you're...
I use my knuckle. I think my knuckle's about an inch.
There you go.
Okay, that's still a little peeny.
That's
now these don't spread, so could we go 4 across?
We could go 4 across.
Okay.
Because we're going to refrigerate them.
Again,
for just about a half an hour, up to an hour. And
what does that do?
Well, that keeps them from spreading. If you want them to look like a drop cookie, then you don't have to refrigerate them a second time.
But you want it to remain like a little ball.
Yeah.
And you recommend a parchment bottom.
Yeah, I never knew about parchment paper. My mother never used it.
So
I learned
would she
about that
grease
from my
it?
mother-in-law.
Would she grease?
She would grease the pan with like oleo or whatever she was working with. But my mother-in-law taught me about parchment paper when we used to do the cutout cookies with the kids, and oh my gosh, it was like a miracle that nothing.
And you can reuse it numerous times, and it really just doesn't add any more oil.
It doesn't, and it prevents them from burning. And I think your pans have a little longer life too.
Yeah.
Because you're not like scraping things off of them.
That's true. So the dough has been chilling for 30 minutes. And I preheated the oven to 350, and now we will put this on the middle rack. And how long are these going to bake?
Just about 10 to 12 minutes, and I check them after 10.
Okay, because my mom's oven tends to run a little hot.
So while they're baking, we can start our frosting, which is also pretty simple. It's just 2 cups of powdered sugar that we have in the bowl.
All right.
A teaspoon of almond extract. Do you want to do that?
Okay, you want me to do that? Yes, okay.
And then we're just going to add 2 to 3
She's just ordering me around.
That's
okay.
right. 2 women in the kitchen, look out.
I know, 2, okay, I can't see real good. There we go, 1 teaspoon. I'll tell you. Okay, and just 1 is enough?
1's enough. And then we're just going to add the powdered milk, or the milk to the powder.
And that's it, it's 3 ingredients.
Yeah, 2 to 3 tablespoons, and then you kind of have to watch it so you don't make it too runny, because you kind of want to dip the cookies in it so that they don't, like the icing doesn't melt off of them.
Now that looks about right.
Looks perfect.
Because then it'll harden a little bit,
It'll
right?
harden a little bit.
I mean, this is basically what's that called that you use? Classic or?
Yeah, it's like a classic powdered sugar icing. You can use it for sugar cookies. It's real simple. So if you made anise cookies, you would want to put anise flavoring. If you did lemon, you'd want to put lemon flavoring in the frosting.
And all we'll do is when they're done, just
dip them in,
and then put some fancy sprinkles
and decorate
on.
them.
Well, Maria, my mother always shows up for the fun part. She, isn't here for the cleanup and the, all the work. But now we're going to decorate.
I know.
So we've cooled these. They're very cool. Nothing will melt on them. We made the frosting, and you saw that earlier.
Yes.
All these recipes will be all right. And then, so what do we do now,
So
Maria?
all we have to do now is I like to dip them, kind of swirl them around. And then we want to decorate them with whatever sprinkles you like.
Oh, I do like the little
ones
colored
are
balls. And then there's the, what are these called? Jimmies.
Jimmies, yeah.
That they put
Remember,
on
you used to like that on ice cream.
In Boston, they call them Jimmies. They don't call them sprinkles. And, oh, that's cute.
And then we also have, I found these at IGA, and they have every color in them.
Oh.
And they advertise them as every holiday.
Yeah, let's do the green for St. Patrick's Day. No, or for Ursuline, whichever way you want to go. Maria's you know, we could go red though for the Wilson Redmen.
Whoa.
And purple for St. Christine's is what?
The Crusaders. Yeah, we'll just go crazy. Okay, now we gotta taste and see how we did. Okay, so everybody grab a cookie.
I'm gonna take this little one.
I'm gonna take this one.
I'm gonna take the purple one.
Okay, let's have a toast.
A salute.
A salute, na zdrowie. No.
These are very good. Light. Eat a ton of these.
And very simple. You can see
Really?
it's not a lot of ingredients, not a lot of time.
Well,
and we have a
and
good
they
product.
store well.
And
Thank you.
they do store well, and we didn't mess up. We're
No, we
100%.
didn't. A little light brown on the bottom, that's all you need. For the complete recipe for Maria's Italian wedding cookies, just go to my website, caseymalone.com. The frosting and the cookie ingredients are there. Maria, thank you for coming.
They're wonderful.
Into the kitchen. Cheers. They're delicious. The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.